Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. So we got some big news in the form of a new Yu-Gi-Oh manga, and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna title this video, but no, it is not a Yugioh VRAINS manga. I think that's what a few of us, based on the comments I've seen in regards to this news, were hoping for and were expecting, but we're gonna get into that a little later on about Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS and just why I believe it is the most hated show from Konami's perspective and the most mistreated show and series in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise that we have ever had. We're going to get into that a little later on, but first we are going to start with the news that Yu-Gi-Oh manga is going to be back in V-Jump, and it is a Yu-Gi-Oh 7s manga. So big thank you to everyone on YG.org for translating this. Yu-Gi-Oh 7s will be getting a manga in V-Jump titled Yu-Gi-Oh 7s Rook Bakuretsu Hadoden, roughly Yu-Gi-Oh 7's Luke Explosive Supremacy Legend. So first and foremost, you can see by the cover, that monster, by the way, at first glance, I thought it was a Red Eyes monster. Doesn't really look like Dragears. It very well might be a new ace that Luke has that's not in the anime and that he hasn't used yet in the anime, but we will have to wait and see. It could be Dragears. It just doesn't really look like Dragears to me. But this is going to be the first Yu-Gi-Oh manga where the main protagonist of the manga is not the main protagonist of the anime. So that's actually really cool. I really don't mind that the manga is focusing on a different character. Obviously, Rook is the deuteragonist, the second protagonist essentially in the anime, but Yuga is the main character in the show, and it looks like Rook is going to be the main character in the manga, so that is different, and I really do like that. That's pretty cool. It's going to be written by a very familiar human being, Hikakubu Masahiro, so he has been the dual writer in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise for a very long time. Kind of interesting that they have the dual writer being the main writer, because obviously Masahiro being the dual writer, he's focusing on the scripts for the actual duel and not really the plot that's going around outside of the duel. So kind of interesting that he will have the main role as writer in this manga. The art is going to be done by Sugi Tasuka, who, based on her name, should be a female artist. She's previously worked on Tenjin, a manga done on Jump's online manga services. So if that is true, I believe that is going to be the first woman artist that is doing a Yu-Gi-Oh manga. So that is actually really, really cool in its own right. And again, it's just fresh blood into a franchise that in the last year has completely flipped on its head and done a complete 180 in terms of target strategy and market strategy. It is unclear if this is going to be a dueling related manga or a gag manga. It starts in the next issue of V-Jump. I have a feeling it probably will be a more dueling-based manga instead of a comedic one that we've seen in the past with spin-off Yu-Gi-Ohs, only because it is in V-Jump, and I believe Yu-Gi-Oh 7s already has a bit of a gag manga. So OCG Structures, for those of you following that manga, there's no news on that ending. This isn't replacing OCG Structures, so there will be quite a few Yu-Gi-Oh manga running at once, and it is cool that Yu-Gi-Oh 7s is getting a manga, but we have to address the elephant in the room, guys, and that is that this announcement pretty much slams the door completely that Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS is not getting a manga. Before this announcement, I thought the chance of a Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS manga was extraordinarily low. I know people were really holding out hope that VRAINS was going to get a manga announcement, but I thought the chance of a Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS manga being announced, especially after hearing, the anime switched from Gallop to Bridge and the new direction that this franchise is going in, with Yu-Gi-Oh 7s obviously aiming for a younger, newer demographic, I thought the odds of getting a VRAINS manga was about as low as the odds of getting a full-length movie based on one of the spin-offs, which I would love to see, but I just thought the possibility of it was extraordinarily low. With this announcement, unfortunately, I am now of the belief that we are never getting a Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS manga. And that sucks. I hate when I genuinely feel that way. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. You guys that have watched me for a long time, you know that is not me at all. I feel like you can either be a very positive thinker or a negative thinker. And if you're a more negative thinker, you don't really like to be optimistic, you're more cautiously optimistic. Well, for me, I'm a little too optimistic for my own good, especially when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! And so when I truly believe, it takes a lot for me to truly believe that something is never going to happen. And I now am of the belief that a Yugioh VRAINS manga is never going to happen, which stinks. That does not mean that I would not love to see a VRAINS manga. Of course I would love to see a VRAINS manga. In fact, even though I've been enjoying the Yugioh 7's anime, I would rather have seen a VRAINS manga announcement than a Yugioh 7's manga announcement because, you know, frankly, I loved Yugioh VRAINS. I mean, I liked Yugioh VRAINS so much, and I think it would have been a cool balance to enjoy the 7's anime while reading the Yugioh VRAINS manga. I feel like it would have offset each other really, really well, and there was a lot of cool things that they could have done with the VRAINS manga. You know, maybe Yusaku is a little more open and friendly. It would have been cool to see what they did with Aoi, what they did with Revolver. Maybe they would have added a new character. Maybe Miyu or one of the Lost Incident victims would have had a bigger role. Maybe the Ignis wouldn't have even been in the Yugioh VRAINS manga. Who really knows, but it is just crazy to me that Yugioh VRAINS is the most disliked and disdained series by Konami. It has to be, because it is the only spin-off anime that got 6 months cut off from its end, only lasted 120 episodes, and it could have used 20 more episodes in that final season. That final season, while being enjoyable, was very, very rushed and very, very quick. I mean, that final season was only, I think, like 18 or 17 episodes. Another 20 episodes really could have done wonders for that show. It gets cut off by 6 months. Konami advertises Yugioh 7 by saying this is going to be a 20th anniversary show, almost as if it's going to have to do with that VRAINS cliffhanger ending, because of the way that they marketed it, and Akira Zaizen even at the end saying, you know, there's so many universes out there. And with how Yugioh 7s was being hyped up, which I don't agree with them marketing 7s the way that they did, because again, they were saying it was going to celebrate the 20th anniversary of all the shows, and then we get an announcement at Jump Festa in December where it completely flips the direction of this franchise on its head. And instead of being aimed for more, you know, for the older players, the TCG market, they create a new style of dueling, and they clearly are aiming for a younger demographic, and they change studios that they've been with for the last 20 years. Completely flipped the direction of the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise on its head. Completely. And it is almost like they are trying to erase the entire history of Yugioh VRAINS from existence, the entire memory of Yugioh VRAINS from existence. Not only cutting its anime short by 6 months, but then to not give us a manga, to not give us a piece of media that every single Yu-Gi-Oh spin-off has gotten, from GX all the way to Arc 5. And oh man, it's crazy to me. It is crazy to me that there has to be someone at Team Konami that just really, really does not like Yugioh VRAINS and does not want Yugioh VRAINS to even be remembered by anyone. And for Yugioh VRAINS to be the only Yu-Gi-Oh spinoff that is not going to receive a manga, that did not get a full 3 years, it is baffling to me. I mean, I really did enjoy VRAINS. And I know there were a few people that did. I mean, honestly, with every Yu-Gi-Oh spinoff, there's people that don't enjoy them. There's people that don't enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. And I thought 5Ds was a very strong spinoff. So it's just crazy to me that there does seem to be a level of separation that Konami wants from Yu-Gi-Oh VRAINS specifically and from Studio Gallup's anime, and they are just going fully on board with Yugioh 7s. I will say this, because there is going to be misguided anger. I feel like there always is. I know there are a lot of people that blame 7s for VRAINS ending early, that will blame the 7s manga for not getting a VRAINS manga. I do want to reiterate that there is just no correlation there. I mean, you really are yelling at nothing if you believe that Yugioh 7s has anything to do with the treatment of Yugioh VRAINS. I might feel differently if Studio Gallup was still the studio working on the Yu-Gi-Oh anime and was working on Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, but come on, guys, there is no correlation here. They could have kept Studio Gallop working those last 6 months and then switched over to 7s. Konami made the decision, for whatever reason, a reason that we will probably never know, to cut VRAINS off early and to not give VRAINS a manga. Not because of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, but because I really don't know the actual reasoning, but in my opinion, it's just they want to distance themselves from Studio Gallop, and, you know, there will be misguided anger at Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, as I feel like there always is at the newer spin-offs, if there's anger towards the treatment of the previous one, because I know there was anger at VRAINS for Arc 5's treatment and vice versa. There's always some crazy stuff going on here, but yeah, even though I've been enjoying the 7s anime, I'm excited to see where it goes. This announcement really was kind of a, you know, I'm obviously happy 7s is getting a manga, but it was a bit of a disappointment, a massive disappointment, because to me, this slams the book on Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS. The Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS manga even could have continued where the anime left off. Like, there was so much room for what the Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS manga could have done, and the fact that we are never getting one, and in my opinion, we are never getting one at least, is a tough pill to swallow, because it almost feels like the franchise of VRAINS ended so abruptly and so quickly. I remember it was early September, about a year ago, that we heard, oh, VRAINS is ending at the end of this month. What? I mean, the writing was on the wall, but it was still a tough pill to swallow, and I don't know, it just feels like we didn't really get proper closure, especially with no manga now. It's a shame. It's a shame, but cool for 7s. Cool that we're getting our first woman artist working on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga, and excited to see what the 7s manga brings. So you guys let me know all your thoughts from all different perspectives on this news. I am excited to talk to all of you down below. Thank you all so much for watching. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Smith620, Blue Maiden 28, Panther J, Moon Calamity, Jarrett Buller, and Aura Dragon, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, Pegasus Seiya, Brandon Gomez, and Solid Snack, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, Stella Sky. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon and who is a YouTube channel member. You guys help me out tremendously, and you are all awesome. I will talk to you down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.